any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it. That's what I'm telling you. You can't.
This is Casey Stevens, the defense attorney that Mustafa Al-Jazari had. If you're out of Prince William County and you need a lawyer, be careful from Casey Stevens. He's out of Prince William County. He works for the police and he works for the prosecutor. If I didn't have this on audio, no one would have believed it. This is a defense attorney who tells you whatever evidence that you have, destroy it. Get rid of it, or we're going to have problems. What kind of problems, sir? What, you're going to have the police department come after us? You're going to have the Commonwealth attorney come after us? What are you threatening us with? Your own defense attorney threatens you to destroy evidence. Fast forward to 2.5 years, you've got Commonwealth Amy Ashworth throwing my name around in 3 different jurisdictions. Got a case out of Prince William County, Circuit Court. I've got a case out of Warren County in Circuit Court. I've got a case in federal court. And Commonwealth Amy Ashworth wants me to shut down the YouTube channel. Remove all the body cams that I stole from her. Well, I wouldn't have to steal it from you, ma'am, if you hadn't sealed it. And the question is, what do you have to hide that you're sealing the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? That apparently you're sealing other cases. What do you have to hide that you're sealing the Tatiana David case? This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa threw the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. Now, before we dive into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, I want to go over to our local paper, Inside Nova, and see what is going on around the county. Now, this is a disturbing story that's coming out of Prince William County. Inside Nova, our local paper, is InsideNova.com. If you go over there, you'll find a very interesting article, a very disturbing article. They're talking about a police officer who is accessing information, unauthorized information, going into evidence.com, the computer at the police department, accessing information when he wasn't supposed to access them, and then use that information to go on and stalk and follow and watch people in our community? Is that what's really happening in our police department? Now, before we read the article, I want everybody to keep in mind and just try to be objective and try to ask questions. Why is it that our local paper only gives us the narrative out of the police department? We don't hear from the police officer that's being accused. We don't hear from the family member of the police officer that's being accused. Instead, we only hear the narrative that's coming out of the police department. I mean, the narrative that's coming out of the police department is disturbing. But why is it we only hear their narrative? We can't FOIA request any document. We can't request any body cams. The Commonwealth attorney and the police department, they're not giving us anything. Essentially, we're going in blind. We have to rely on the narrative of the government. And that's a problem. That's always a problem. Especially Prince William County is falsifying the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, is using individuals to manufacture probable cause, relying on the individuals that pretend to be witnesses, sealing off the whole case. In the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, what did they do? They chopped up the vehicle, staged it to make it look like a head-on collision. They cut and muted the dash camera. They brought in individuals, said they were witnesses, sealed off their videos, falsified their reports, made them look like they were there and that they're witnesses. And then when you watch the videos, each one of those individuals in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case tell you we were not there. Every piece of evidence, every report is falsified. A whole entire case is based on falsified police reports. Why is Mustafa sitting in a county jail without trial. Why is his evidence not on the record? It's been 2.5 years. What is this prosecutor terrified that she's going to take Mustafa? Why is she terrified to take Mustafa to court? Instead, he sits in a county jail for over 2.5 years when, by law, you have to take Mustafa to court within 6 months. We have something called, in Virginia, something called a speedy trial. Within 6 months, you have to take him to trial. You have to put his evidence on the record and take him to trial. Instead, Mustafa sits in a county jail. A prosecutor, a Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth, is terrified to put his evidence on the record and take him to trial. I mean, you scream he's guilty in court, but you're terrified to take him to trial? The minute you take Mustafa to trial, the minute you put his evidence on the record, Mustafa's coming home. And your police officer, including you, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, will end up in jail. So instead, you seal off his file. No one can FOIA request the material. And you keep him in solitary confinement for over 2.5 years. And you deny him bond. So no one can hear from Mustafa. Tatiana David is another case. Michael Davis is in a county jail. It's been 2.5 years. And they refused to take him to trial. They've deleted his body cams that show that police murdered his girlfriend and blamed it on him. Unfortunately for the Commonwealth attorney, I have the body cams and I'm leaking them on the internet. This community is watching Commonwealth Amy Ashworth use police officer that falsified a whole entire case. Mustafa Al-Jazari sits in a county jail without trial, and a Commonwealth attorney that built a whole entire case on falsified police reports and manufactured probable cause. Michael Davis sits in a county jail being blamed for the murder of his girlfriend when on body cam it shows that Virginia State Police and Prince William County Police Department murdered Tatiana David. All these body cams have been leaked on the internet. So it's no longer my word against the police department, my word against the Commonwealth attorney. No, I've got the body cams and I've got the documents. And that takes us into what we're reading in our local paper. Why can't we verify anything that's coming out of this county? Instead, we're left with the narrative that's coming out of the police department. And that's a problem. Let's dive into what our local paper tells us. This is Inside Nova, InsideNova.com. The headline reads, Prince William County police officer charged with stalking illegal use of computer. Interesting. A Prince William County police officer was arrested Wednesday on charges of stalking and illegally using a department computer in an investigation that began last month. Godson Vondi, 42 years old. All right, so Godson Vondi. A Centennial Ridge Lane in Stafford was held without bond. Oh, so he's held in Stafford. Okay, so they locked him up in Stafford. Was held without bond at the Prince William County Manassas Regional Jail. Okay, all right. No, he's actually held at Manassas Regional Jail. All right, our county jail, Prince William County. Prince William County Police Lieutenant Jonathan Perroque. Oh, Jonathan Perroque, the same Jonathan Perroque that came out on NBC4 and said that don't worry about finding out that the investigator have falsified Mustafa Al-Jazari case. That Jonathan Perroque. So Jonathan Perroque is the spokesperson for Prince William County. All right. Prince William County Police Lieutenant Jonathan Perroque said in a news release. All right. So we have to take the words and rely on Jonathan Perroque, who has a history of lying. Police said their investigation revealed Vondi a sworn officer of 6 years. So he's been with the department for 6 years. Accused law enforcement access law enforcement database to obtain identifying information on a man who was known to a female acquaintance of his. Baroque said, investigation determined Vondi allegedly accessed the Virginia Criminal Information Network once in 2023 and 4 times in 2024 to obtain information about the man, Baroque said. Oh, so he's been doing it since 2023. And what, you just caught on to it? All right. He was reportedly on duty at the time of each incident and did not have a criminal justice reason needed to access the information, Baroque said. Furthermore, the accused was determined to have been in the area of the victim resident on more than one occasion over a 15-month time frame, the release said. It'll be interesting to find out what kind of evidence do they have that he was there, and if they're going to share that information so we can verify if they're telling the truth about this police officer. It'll be interesting to if their police department is going to share with us the material, the evidence that he did access that computer when he didn't have authorization to access that information. We'll find out. Once the allegation were brought to the attention of police, Vondi was relieved of his police authority, and both administrative and criminal investigation into the accusation were launched by the police department Office of Professional Standards and Criminal Investigation Division. Oh, the same internal affairs that looked at the officer that falsified the Mustafa Al-Jazari statements. The same internal affairs that covered up for Officer Robert Drum falsifying Mustafa's statements. A whole case is built on falsifying Mustafa's statements, but internal affairs covers up in that case. The same internal affairs that refuse to look into the murder of Tatiana David, which we're watching on the internet. A body cam leaked that Prince William County Police Department and Virginia State Police murdered Tatiana David. That same internal affairs. So we have to trust that internal affairs. Okay. Vondi has been placed on administrative leave while the criminal matter proceeds through the courts. These actions were betrayal of our oath of office and are not reflective of the values and professionalism expected of the members of this agency. Prince William County Police Chief Peter Newsham said in a release, such actions violates the trust within our community, and I expect the accused to be held accountable. Well, Chief of Police Peter Newsham, where are you in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? Your police officer falsified every police report. Your police officer, Chief of Police Peter Newsham, allowed individual to come into this case and manufacture probable cause about Mustafa. Where are you, sir? When your police department chopped up and staged Mustafa's vehicle to make it look like head-on collision. We have the pictures of the vehicle at the scene, and we have the pictures when the police department is inside your police department, chopped up and staged to make it look like a head-on collision. If the file was not leaked on the internet, we wouldn't have been able to verify this. Where are you, Chief of Police Peter Newsham, from your police department, cutting the dash camera, muting the dash camera, coming out to the news saying there is no audio on this dash camera, and then in the filing, there's a document that we see that show that your police department is hiding the audio. Where are you, sir? But here you want to tell us these actions are a betrayal of our oath of office and are not reflective of the values of professionalism expected of the members of this agency. Prince William County Police Chief Peter Newsham said. in the release, such action violate the trust within our community, and I expect the accused to be held accountable. What about the officers that murdered Tatiana David? What about those officers, sir? Are you going to hold them accountable, or are you going to pretend that this body cam where your police officer murdered this black girl in cold blood is circulating all over the internet? You're going to pretend you're not seeing it? Vondi was charged with 1 count of stalking and 5 counts of use of a computer to obtain identifying information. The release said a court date is scheduled for August 19. We will be there, and we want to watch how this plays out. Essentially, we're left with the narrative out of the police department. You can't talk to the officer. You can't talk to his family. I mean, we expect better from our local paper. We expect better from our local media. Why is it that we're only hearing from the police department? Now, this officer may be a piece of shit, but you can't expect me to just rely on the narrative out of the police department and say, and walk away and say that this is good enough. It's not good enough. Our community expect better out of the police department, expect better out of our local newspaper, expect better out of our local media. Can we FOIA request the body cams for this police officer? Can we FOIA request the documents? Can the police department share anything other than telling us that he's guilty? Now, I want to dive back into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, and we're going through the police body cams, and there's a lot of police body cams. There's a lot of information. Now, the Commonwealth Attorney, when you go through these body cams that's been leaked on the internet, now, what the Commonwealth Attorney did, the material fact of this case showed that this is a vehicle accident. The computer, every vehicle has a computer. The computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. The dash cameras show that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. The narrative coming out of the police department is that Mustafa was arguing inside the vehicle, but then when you watch the dash camera that they're hiding from you, that's now been leaked on the internet, you see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette 8 times. But yet they want to tell us that they're arguing. And that's why they're not releasing the dash camera to you. Because when you watch it, I mean, at one point you see Dorothy she feels Mustafa's fingers as she's taking the cigarette from him. 8 times they're passing a cigarette, and they want to tell us that they're arguing. But they're hiding that dash camera from you. Mustafa's toxicology report show no alcohol and no drugs. But yet Mustafa was charged with a DUI. And the minute that you have evidence that they falsified the case, they retaliate. The Commonwealth Attorney, Amy Ashworth, retaliates, dropping the DUI, even though his toxicology show no alcohol and no drugs. She drops the DUI and she brings it up to murder. Now Mustafa's being charged with murder. How dare you have evidence against her police officer that he falsified Mustafa's statements? From April all the way to October, Mustafa is held on a DUI. The minute that you have evidence that this investigator falsified Mustafa's statement, the Commonwealth Attorney retaliates and she ups it to murder. Now, unfortunately for the Commonwealth Attorney, Amy Ashworth, we stole the file from her and it's being leaked on the internet. So the conversation is no longer my word against her, my word against the police department. No, absolutely not. I've got the body cams. I've got the documents. I've got the dash camera. And I've got every piece of information that they have in evidence.com, the police department website, where they safely keep everything. They falsify a case and they lock away the evidence that will show that they falsified this whole entire case. And they put Mustafa in solitary confinement, so you can't even talk to Mustafa. The news will run with the narrative out of the police department. So you're left with the narrative coming out of the police department, and you can't verify anything, and you want to tell me that we're living in a safe community? Well, unfortunately, for Commonwealth Attorney, that we're leaked the whole file, and you can verify it. You can verify that this Commonwealth Attorney used police officer that falsified the police reports, used individuals to manufacture probable cause. Now, in court, this prosecutor tells the judge, this is the presiding judge in Mustafa Al-Jazari case, Judge Carol Weimer. Judge Carol Weimer is listening to prosecutor Sarah Sammy tell him, Your Honor, and she doesn't give him evidence, by the way. She proffers. She does something called proffer. Proffer is when you tell the judge that you have evidence without giving him the evidence. She tells the judge that Mustafa premeditated this. This is a murder, she tells him. This is not a car accident. This is a murder. And then she tells him, Your Honor, I have a witness that's going to come forward that will be testifying that this is premeditated murder. Let's listen to the prosecutor in court. Unfortunately for her, unfortunately for prosecutor Sarah Sammy, we have her voice in court. So she can't say, I didn't say that. She can't say that. We have her voice. Let's listen to what prosecutor Sarah Sammy says. And we're going to take a deep dive through the body cams, and we want to find out what her witnesses are saying. Now, what's disturbing is we're finding out that none of her witnesses are actually saying this. Every single person that the police department and the Commonwealth Attorney brought into this case actually says, I wasn't there, I didn't hear it. Before we dive into those body cams, let's listen to what the prosecutor says in court.
Another individual came forward to say that this defendant had told Dorothy that he would kill her in the past.
Another individual, this is prosecutor Sarah Sammy. Let's zoom in on prosecutor Sarah Sammy so we can get a better look at what she looks like, who she is. We want to get to know our prosecutor. So that way, when she ends up in jail, we can put commissary on her books. We can put money on her phone. This prosecutor thinks she's above the law. She thinks that no one is going to be able to find out what she's doing in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. We want to be able to put money on her books. So that way, when she calls her mother can tell her, I've raised a cunt of a daughter. Let's zoom in on what she looks like. There we go. And re-listen to what she's telling us in court. Prosecutor, tell us, what is your evidence and why is this premeditated murder, prosecutor?
Another individual came forward to say that this defendant had told Dorothy that he would kill her in the past.
An individual is going to come forward and is going to testify that Mustafa told Dorothy, I'm going to kill you. That's what the prosecutor proffers in court. But the problem here is she's comfortable saying this in court because her Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth, sealed off the body cams. She's comfortable saying that in court. There's no way for you to verify anything. Even if you put a FOIA, your FOIA is going to be denied. So how could you verify what this prosecutor says in court? You can't. You essentially have to take her word for it. Unfortunately for her, we have those body cams and they're being leaked all over the internet. This is Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, who sealed off. Let's do a Google search on our Commonwealth attorney so that way we know who we're talking about. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. Our Commonwealth attorney is from Poland, and we hope by the end of this transaction, we're going to send her back to Poland because she's definitely acting like she's in Poland under Nazi Germany. Falsify a whole entire case, put Mustafa away without a bond, 2.5 years, no trial, refused to put his evidence on the record. This is our beautiful, beautiful Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth, who went to Judge Carol Weimer, the presiding judge, and got to seal off the whole case. So our little Persian princess, Sarah Sami, who's originally Persian, hopefully by the end of this transaction, we can get to deport her to Iran. You want to act like you're in Iran, ma'am? We're going to send you to Iran. And I promise you, by the end of this transaction, I'm going to have you in Alligator Alcatraz. You think it's not possible? Oh, I promise you, it's very possible. I told you I was going to get my hand on the file. And I have the file. I've reached into your back pocket and I stole the whole entire file. In the history of Prince William County, it never happened. There is no way that you can get your hand on a sealed file, and here I am doing it. The whole entire file is on the internet. And not only for Mustafa, Tatiana David, and we're going to be leaking other files. There's a time and place for everything. Now, we listened to what Prosecutor Sarah Sami said, that she has a witness that will come forward that's going to testify that Mustafa premeditated this. Now, let's get to know the witnesses in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Let's see. All right, so this is Kylie. The Commonwealth attorney is using Kylie, and they're building a whole entire case on Kylie. And they're saying, the Commonwealth attorney says, I have a witness that's going to come forward and say that Mustafa premeditated. This is Kylie. This is Dorothy's 16-year-old daughter at the time, who doesn't live there, lives with her dad, who in her body cam says, I wasn't there. Now, let's backtrack a little bit. So when you go through the discovery, the investigator, Robert Drum, received an email from Evelyn Horton. This is Evelyn Horton. If you go on Facebook, you can find Evelyn Horton by doing a Facebook search. It's that simple. Evelyn Horton. There we go. That's Evelyn Horton. That's her Facebook. Get to know her, reach out to her, and tell her, why did you lie in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? We have your body cams. Watch the body cams before you reach out to her so you can hold her at what she said on the body cam. Tell her, why did you lie and manufacture lies in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? Now, Evelyn Horton, if you scroll down here on one of her posts, you'll see another interesting character. You see Anna Majoro. Anna Majoro. Let's see. This individual. All right, so you see this individual. Let's see if we can find a better video so that way we can get better perspective on what we're talking about. There we go. And we're going to hold... this is Anna Majoro. This is another character in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. All right. So you see Anna Majora at one point reach out to Evelyn Horton. And she says here, Evelyn Horton, I sent you a private message and please share it with whoever you would like to share it. So Anna Majoro knows Mustafa, and we'll talk about the history that Anna Majoro has with Mustafa. And it all comes back full circle. We'll take a deep dive into, but I want you to put a pin in that one about Anna Majoro. And who is Anna Majoro? We're investigating the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, and we want to get to know who's coming into this case. Now, there's another character, because at the time when the vehicle accident happened, the police department put out a post. The police department out of Prince William County has a Facebook post, has a Facebook, and on their Facebook, the police department Facebook, put out a post that there's a vehicle accident. Now, Evelyn Horton is there on commenting. There's another interesting character. Let's see if we can find that person.
Well, the hitch just...
Kelly Garrity Clapp. This person. Kelly Garrity Clapp. This person is all over the post. Now, when you go through the discovery, you see that Kelly Garrity Clapp, this person, reached out to Evelyn Horton, flagged and got the investigator a witness. There's characters that's coming into this case. Evelyn Horton sent a document, an email to the main investigator, Robert Drum. She tells him, my name is Evelyn Horton. This person. Let's zoom in so we can get to know Evelyn Horton. Evelyn Horton sent an email to the main investigator, and she told him, my name is Evelyn Horton. I'm a witness. I want to come forward and testify that this is premeditated murder. Now, on the body cam, we have the body cam. We've leaked that body cam on the internet. The conversation that she had with investigator Robert Drum. Now, on the body cam, something interesting happens. She identifies herself as Amy Hodson. On the body cam, she says, my name is Amy Hodson. And then Robert Drum specifically tells her, I got an email from you, and he began detailing the details of that email, the only email in the discovery of Evelyn Horton. Immediately, we understand that they're masking Evelyn Horton's identity. And they're masking it under Amy Hodson. Now, in the body cam, she goes on and she says, I'm a witness. I want to come forward that this is premeditated. And then she goes on and says, I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. Because the investigator asked her, you say this is premeditated. Where are you? Were you there? She says, no, I'm getting my information. She says, I'm getting my information from Kylie. Let's listen to the body cam. So that way, it's not my word against the police department. It's not my word against the prosecutor. No, I have the body cam that I've leaked on the internet. Now, if I've put all the body cams on the internet, if you go over to YouTube, Not Another Boring Podcast, Evelyn Horton, aka Amy Hodson's body cam is titled Exhibit 39. So let's scroll to Exhibit 39. Let's see. 39. There we go. Specifically, if you go to timestamp 6:45. Listen to what she tells the main investigator, Robert Drum.
The message that we got said it was all planned by the husband. Why do we think?
Yes.
Why do you think it was planned by the husband?
And that's what apparently Kylie and the neighbor believe, is that he has said before that he was going to kill her,
So-
and that the day that he left, why didn't he take the other children? And it was just like he wasn't really going anywhere specific. It was almost like it was all intentional. I'm going to go do this and I'll be right back.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
okay. So what
So
you
his veering off into the other lane was intentional.
so what you know is through Kylie and the Miss Kim, the best friend.
Yeah, the neighbor, yes.
Okay.
I just know her as a neighbor. Kylie.
Okay, so she tells him, I'm not there. I wasn't there. I didn't hear it. She tells him it's premeditated, but she's not the witness. So, unfortunately for Evelyn Horton, a.k.a. Amy Hodson, sweetheart, you've disqualified yourself as a witness. We know you want to be a witness so bad. We know. But we have your body cam. And you can't lie. What did you tell Investigator Robert Drum? You have all your information that this is premeditated from Kylie, the neighbor. So you didn't hear it. This is the definition of manufactured probable cause. That's hearsay. All right, well, let's go into this rabbit hole and go over to the body cam of Kylie. And let's hear what Kylie says. Because according to Evelyn Horton, a.k.a. Amy Hodson, that Kylie is the one that's the witness. So if you go over to Kylie, this is her forensic interview. Let's see, this is Kylie. And this is the neighbor, Tanisha Coleman. So Evelyn Horton tells us it's Kylie and Tanisha Coleman that are saying it. All right, so let's take a deep dive into Kylie's body cam. Let's see. There we go. This is Kylie's interview. And if you fast forward through all this. So let's see. All right. So here Kylie says the same thing. This is premeditated. But then tells us that she wasn't there, that she's getting her information from the neighbor. I mean, here we're playing a game of ping pong. I remind this community, this is a sealed file. So essentially, if it wasn't for us leaking these body cams, you can't get to the bottom of what the prosecutor is talking about. The prosecutor is talking about that she has a witness that's going to come forward and say that Mustafa premeditated a murder. Let's listen to what Kylie's talking about.
So,
All right, so we're having a problem with the audio. Let's see if I can figure this out.
and whose idea was it to go?
Unfortunately.
I just
There we go. All right, Kylie, tell us what you think. She says Mustafa premeditated this, and then she gives us a scenario, but then says, "I wasn't there." Let's see if I can find it. There we go. Here, Kylie says that Mustafa, she gives you a scenario. And she tells the lady that's conducting the interview that Mustafa premeditated this. And she repeats the same scenario that Evelyn Horton told Robert Drum. And then turns around and says, "I wasn't there." Well, where did you get this from? She says, the neighbor, Tanisha Coleman. All right, let's listen to what Kylie says.
Okay. Is there anything else you can think of, even if you think it's not that important, that you feel like you want to tell me?
Well, with like, I'm really sorry. I've been up since like 6 a.m.
Yeah. And if you're, when you get to that point and you're ready to stop, just let me know, okay?
No, I will. I'm just like
Okay.
thinking about this, and then I also have to go into work after this.
Okay.
And I'm also really tired, so it's like
Yeah.
I have a lot of things.
Sure.
But and I also just haven't thought about this in a really, at least in detail, in a really long time.
Sure.
And well, I know that the night it happened, the crash, I know that he's made comments about how my mom always, this is what made me think, like, I think it was on purpose. Even if he didn't premeditate it, I think it was on purpose.
Okay.
Was that, first of all, he had already had my mom to get rid of me. And the only other person that was so, like, evident, clear about, I'm looking for the right word, that's probably not the right word, but like, so, like, outward and direct about not wanting him there was my baby sister. And he's made comments about how she always sits behind my mom in the car. And also, so my mom, she really wasn't a very good person. She was cheating on him with her ex-boyfriend, who she had moved next door and he would argue. Her ex-boyfriend's name was Glenn. She had moved next door to him with Moses. They knew who each other was and about each other. Glenn knew that who Moses was and that he lived there. Moses didn't know who Glenn was, because if he did, they'd probably kill each other. But like their bedroom window looked directly into his bedroom window with his baby mama, and I know they were still seeing each other and like hooking up and stuff. And so I'm pretty sure that that night he found out about that, or that Glenn had lived right there, is what my mom's friend told me. And so that day was my mom's birthday. So they were gonna go see his grave. I mean, her grave. I'm sorry. And my brothers asked to go, and he wouldn't let them. And he said only my mom and my little sister. And there's plenty of room in the car. There's plenty of. So if they wanted to go to their grandmother's grave, why wouldn't he let them?
All right, so she gives out a narrative. She says that Mustafa forced Dorothy on that day. This is premeditated. Mustafa planned this out, forced Dorothy to get into the car, forced 5-year-old Empress to get in the car, forced the boys to stay home, only to murder her mom and her 5-year-old baby. Okay? That's Kylie's narrative, right? This is what she says. This is premeditated. Now, how do you know that, Kylie? Kylie tells us, oh, I wasn't there. The neighbor told me. Well, that's interesting, Kylie, because when we go into the body cam of the neighbor says, I wasn't there. I'm not the witness. You're the witness. And essentially, they're playing a game of ping pong. Those body cams are sealed. You can't verify. I mean, you have a prosecutor in court who says, I have a witness, and we're taking a deep dive into those body cam. And Kylie tells us, I'm not there. Let's listen to what Kylie tells us. Kylie, were you there?
On her, like,
And how did you know about all of that?
because my mom's neighbor was there for part of it, and my siblings told me about that part.
Okay. And
Evelyn Horton tells us that she's a witness, and then when we listen to the body cam, she tells, no, I'm getting all my information from Kylie. Now Kylie is telling us, no, I'm getting my information from Tanisha Coleman or the children. Well, when you open the body cams of Tanisha Coleman, this person, you find out that she says, I'm not the witness. This is Tanisha Coleman. She says, no, I wasn't there. The children says, Tanisha Coleman told us. Kylie told us. Essentially, a game of ping pong. What did the prosecutor do? What does the prosecutor do to make sure that no one finds out? Let's seal off the body cam from anybody. And we're going to continue to lie about Mustafa and drag this out for 2.5 years, and we're not going to take him to trial. We know the minute we take him to trial, every piece of evidence showed this is a car accident. So what are we going to do? We're going to muddy up the water, bring people in, let them lie about Mustafa, falsify the police reports, seal off the body cam, and no one can get to the bottom of what goes on in this case. Let's take a deep dive into the body cam of Tanisha Coleman. Before we listen to the body cam of Tanisha Coleman, we have another character. We have the ex-boyfriend who they brought into this case, Glenn Ford. Let's listen to what Glenn Ford is telling us. because the prosecutor is telling us Glenn Ford is a witness. Let's listen to what Glenn Ford is talking about. Now, Glenn Ford's body cam is titled Exhibit 49. Let's go to, so if you go on YouTube, under Not Another Boring Podcast, there's a playlist called Police Body Cams, Mustafa Al-Jazari, and there's a body cam for the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, who the police department allowed to lie about Mustafa and manufacture probable cause. And in the middle of his interview, he says, I didn't see anything that Mustafa did. But yeah, Mustafa is a piece of shit. He abused Dorothy. He abused the children. Did you see it, Glenn Ford? No. I wasn't there for any of it. I didn't see it. Tanisha Coleman is the witness. I didn't see anything. So what the hell are you sitting on a body cam for 40 minutes pretending to be a witness in a police department that entertain that you're a witness? Let's go over to the body cam, Exhibit 49. There we go. It's like capturing a unicorn.
Their relationship, about things that he would do or anything within their relationship, anything he would do to the kids.
In the comment, you can write timestamps. So in the comment, if you go to timestamp 2054 on Exhibit 49, Investigator Davis asked him a direct question, a very specific question. Glenn Ford, were you there? Did you witness any of this abuse? Let's hear what Glenn Ford tells us.
Did she ever tell you anything else about their relationship? About things that he would do or anything within their relationship? Anything he would do to the kids? Anything like, or anything that you witnessed?
I didn't witness anything that he's done. Because when they moved here, it was like she didn't tell him that I lived here.
Okay.
Like, he was completely oblivious until, I don't know when he found out, but I guess he found out that I lived here.
And you don't know when?
I don't know when.
Okay.
You can ask Tanisha Coleman that.
Okay.
That's who witnessed that part.
Witnessed it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she would.
No, that's me.
Oh. No, that's
witnessed it. All right. So Glenn Ford is also telling us I wasn't there. So now that's three people. We have, let's see if I can go back a little bit. There we go. Glenn Ford, I know you want to be a witness really bad, but we've got your body cam and you've disqualified yourself as a witness. Let's get a better picture of Glenn Ford. Let's see if we can find a better picture so we can add them to. Let's see. I know we have a picture of Glenn Ford. Let's see if it's here. There we go. That was Glenn Ford. There we go. Glenn Ford, we got you, brother. All right. We know you want to be a witness so bad in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. But unfortunately, you've disqualified yourself as a witness. What do you tell us on a body cam? I wasn't there. I didn't witness any of the things that I'm lying about Mustafa. Anything I said about Mustafa for the past multiple body cams, I didn't witness any of it. Who witnessed it, Glenn Ford? Tanisha Coleman. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting, Glenn Ford, because Evelyn Horton also tells us that it's Tanisha Coleman. That is Kylie. Evelyn Horton, unfortunately, you have disqualified yourself as a witness. You tell us you're not there. You tell us you didn't hear it. You tell us that everything that you're saying about Mustafa, you're getting it from Kylie and Tanisha Coleman. So, sweetheart, you've disqualified yourself as a witness. Kylie, what did you tell us on a body cam? You say and paint all these stories about Mustafa, and every single one of them, you say you were not there. I didn't hear it. Oh, it's Tanisha Coleman, the neighbor, that I'm getting this from. Kylie, I know you want to be a witness really bad, but you've disqualified yourself as a witness. It's on a body cam. That's what you said. And unfortunately for you, the Commonwealth attorney and the police department tried. I have to admit, sealing off those body cams it's really tough getting them. It's a lot of work. It was very tough getting it. I mean, can you imagine reaching into the back pocket of your Commonwealth attorney and taking not only Mustafa's file, other files in the county, and then leaking them on the internet? And let me tell you a little secret. Our Commonwealth, Amy Ashworth, does not have a back pocket. But here we are. I'm in possession of the body cams, the documents, and every piece of evidence where I can tell you, you don't have to take my word in any of it. I've got the document, the body cams, that they falsified the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. That they murdered Tatiana David. Now, they all tell us, every single one is telling us, Tanisha Coleman is the witness. Well, Tanisha Coleman, when you open her body cam, she tells you, I'm not the witness. The children are the witness. Wait a minute. Are we talking about the children that you're in possession? That you and the police department and other individuals that came into this case are weaponizing against Mustafa? In one body cam, the 14-year-old child says that the police department told me Mustafa ran away, left my 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. Mustafa was in a coma. Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. What's an investigator telling a child, weaponizing this child against Mustafa? In one body cam, the other child talks about the ex-boyfriend is telling him that Mustafa is guilty. He killed your mom on purpose, is taking him around the neighborhood and having this child, this 10-year-old child, repeat the story. Nini is telling these children that Mustafa abused your mother. And then they walk these children into a forensic interview. And the children on a forensic interview say, we didn't see Mustafa abuse my mom. They're telling us that Mustafa abused our mother. Let's listen to what Javen, the 14-year-old child, is talking about.
When they got into the car crash, the detective said he jumped out and ran, left my baby sitting there. And if he just thought to bring her to the hospital, maybe she would have made it, but she didn't because he decided to be a coward. And now she's gone. And now all I have is my two brothers. She was the sweetest. She would never even hurt a fly. She was innocent too. 25. And my mom's gone. Now she's gone. It's because of one man that I trusted. My mom kept on telling me he's a good guy. I kept on saying, okay. Alright, I told her, I had my suspicions and I should have went with my gut. I knew something wasn't right. And I still believed her, and that's why they're gone today.
Now, when you listen to the body cam of Tanisha Coleman, she's telling you that she didn't see anything. She wasn't there. I mean, she repeats the same scenario that Mustafa forced Dorothy on that day, forced 5-year-old Empress to get in the car, forced the boys to stay home. But she didn't see it, she tells you. The children will tell you that that happened. Where the children are telling us that you're telling them Mustafa did that and he abused their mother. The children are bouncing back from you. You weaponized those children with the help of the police department, the ex-boyfriend, and Kylie and Evelyn Horton. I mean, You're weaponizing children. You put them in there. And now the children are telling the forensic interviewer that, hey, they told us this. They told us that. The investigator told me that Mustafa left my 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death, ran away. And if he hadn't ran away, they could have saved her. Mustafa was in a coma. Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. So what are they telling a 14-year-old child that just lost his mother? Lies to weaponize them against Mustafa. Let's listen to what Tanisha Coleman is telling us. Everybody's pointing the finger at Tanisha Coleman. They're saying, we're not the witness. I mean, remember, the prosecutor says, this is what the prosecutor says.
Another individual came forward to say that this defendant had told Dorothy that he would kill her in the past.
Another individual is going to come forward and say that Mustafa said, Mustafa said that he was going to kill Dorothy, his girlfriend. Well, so far, we're not finding this individual. And they're all pointing the finger at Tanisha Coleman. Now, Tanisha Coleman, let's go over to, this is Tanisha Coleman. Let's listen to what Tanisha Coleman is telling us. Tanisha Coleman repeats the same scenario. That this is premeditated. That Mustafa, on that day, forced his girlfriend to be in the vehicle, forced 5-year-old Empress to get in the car, forced the boys to stay home, only to crash the vehicle. Tanisha Coleman, when she's asked, did you witness this? Tanisha Coleman says, no. No, let's listen to what Tanisha Coleman says.
Where do they know where any of the family members live?
Yeah, I know anywhere the family members live. No, they don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. They don't even have a cell phone. All they know is their mom and him was arguing all morning. They told me they was arguing all morning, and the last couple of days they have been in altercation. So
now, Tanisha Coleman gives the investigator a scenario. She tells him the kids are telling her that Mustafa and their mother has been arguing all morning. And then she goes on and tells him that the kids are telling her that Mustafa forced their mother to get in the car, forced their baby sister to get in the car, forced the boys to stay home, only to kill and murder his family. That the boys are telling her. Wait a minute, I thought everybody's saying you're the witness. Now you're saying the boys are telling you? Well, when we opened the body cams of the boys, they're saying you told them. Let's listen to what Tanisha Coleman is talking about.
They've been arguing all morning, and he told her that he was going to take her to go put flowers on her mom's grave, and that's what they told the kids that they was going. They told y'all that, okay? And he told the other kids that they wanted to go, and he told them, no, y'all not going. Y'all gonna stay right here. I'm just taking your mom and Empress. And sir, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you need to investigate this because it don't sound right.
Well, we are investigating it, and it's taken us a little bit of, like you said, it doesn't. None of this stuff works like TV, so it's going to take us a while to dig through it.
Now, Tanisha Coleman says she's not the witness, that the boys are telling her that Mustafa did this on purpose. And she gives him a detailed scenario. She tells him that this is Mustafa's idea, that on this day, Mustafa tells Dorothy, hey, let's go put flowers on your mother's grave. force her in the car, force 5-year-old Empress to get in the car, force the boys to stay home. She didn't see this. She says the boys are telling her. Are we talking about the boys who's in the background while you're having this on speaker, while you're talking to the investigator within hours of the vehicle accident? I mean, listen to this. Listen to this. This is where it gets really disturbing. I mean, this investigator is on the phone with the neighbor who's in possession of the kids. He can clearly hear the kids are in the background. And this is what he tells her.
Yeah, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Was other people hurt?
So there was a driver from another vehicle, Mr. Mustafa.
Yeah, Moses. We know. I don't know him. I know him as Moses.
So he was going one direction on Dumfries Road, and then the Suburban was going the opposite direction on Dumfries Road, and Moses crossed over into oncoming traffic.
Yep. And he fucking intentionally did this shit, dog. You know, it's just, oh my God. Okay.
So we'll figure this out, and we'll go from there. But like I said, one thing at a time, and I'll send somebody out to come take the report. Okay.
The kids are in the background. Throughout this body cam, you can clearly hear the kids are in the background. And they're listening to every word the investigator is talking about. He tells her Mustafa crossed over to oncoming traffic. And he said the way he talks about it is that he did it intentionally. Even though there are body cams where he's on the scene and they're reenacting how this vehicle accident happened. I have a body cam that I'm going to post where the investigator is talking about that Mustafa cleared all the vehicles, made it all the way to the 4th lane, that the only way this vehicle accident would happen is if Mustafa cleared all the vehicle, cleared lane 1, cleared lane 2, cleared lane 3, made it all the way to the 4th lane, and the SUV turned into Mustafa. There's a body cam where he's reenacting the accident. Doesn't tell her that here. He doesn't tell her that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. He doesn't tell her that he sees brake marks from Mustafa's vehicle. He doesn't tell her that this is a car accident. We're investigating. No, he jumps to the conclusion. While the kids are in the background listening, and you can hear the children, how they gasp when they hear what this investigator said. He tells them, Mustafa killed your mother. I mean, the neighbor is in possession of the kids. Within hours of the vehicle accident, he's talking to the person that's in possession of the kids. She has the phone call on speaker. You can clearly hear the children in the background. She's telling you she's talking to the children. And you tell that person in front of the children, and you jump to the conclusion that Mustafa did this on purpose when you're on the scene saying this is a vehicle accident? Let's listen to the rest of the phone call.
Yes, sir. I just hope y'all get his ass for it. But that 5-year-old ain't had nothing to do with what they got going on.
I know. Like I said, it
got nothing to do. None of that they got going on. And then she had to go through this, man. Y'all got to do everything. She got 3 boys right here.
So he condemns Mustafa guilty. He tells her Mustafa is guilty. That he killed his girlfriend. He killed a 5-year-old baby in front of the children. Remember, Tanisha, the neighbor, has the phone on speaker, and you can clearly hear the children hanging on to every word the investigator is saying on the phone. I mean, talk about weaponizing the children. You're telling them that Mustafa killed your mother. Immediately, you write off this whole thing intentional. Even though every piece of evidence showed this is a car accident. The dash camera showed that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. The computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time. There are brake marks on the scene from the 2 calipers that actually worked. There's a body cam where the police department find brake failure. 2 calipers on the passenger side did not work. That's on a body cam. There's brake failure. So Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time and the vehicle doesn't stop. And then when he finds himself in that position, what did he do? He clears every vehicle, makes it to the 4th lane, and the SUV turned into Mustafa. And the investigator is enacting this on the scene, on a body cam. Doesn't tell her that. He just writes Mustafa off as intentional. He tells the children that Mustafa did this on purpose.
No, we're working on it, I promise.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, bye.
Now, the prosecutor in court tells us, I mean, this is really bad. You have a police department that's weaponizing children. I mean, I go back to 14-year-old Javen and what Javen is talking about in a forensic interview. That the investigator told him that Mustafa ran away, left my 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. If Mustafa hadn't run away, we could have saved your 5-year-old sister. Weaponizing this child against Mustafa. You have a phone call where they're telling the children that Mustafa killed your mother and your 5-year-old baby. You have a neighbor that says the children are saying that Mustafa abused and killed our mother. And then when you talk to the children, you open those body cams, each one of them is saying the neighbor is the one that's telling us this. You weaponize children. You say you have witnesses. And then when you open the body cam of every single witness, you realize that they say it wasn't me. And then they want to rely on the children that they weaponized. And then you only find out when you open the body cams. Unfortunately for the Commonwealth attorney, there's a Google Nest video inside the apartment. I mean, what each one of these individuals are not realizing, that there's a Google Nest video inside the apartment. Let's go over to the Google Nest video. I mean, this is what they want to tell us. They want to tell us that on that day, that Mustafa forced Dorothy, that it was his idea, that this is premeditated, he planned this out. Force his girlfriend, force 5-year-old Empress to get in the vehicle, force the boys to stay home only to crash his vehicle on purpose. Well, that's interesting because I have a body cam from the day of the vehicle accident where Dorothy is the one that's telling Empress, put your shoes on. I want to take you with me. She's going over for her mom's anniversary. It's her mother's anniversary, and it's Dorothy's idea, and she's telling Empress to go with her. Let's watch that Google Nest video.
Yeah, I'm trying to get. I'm trying to give me up. Because you're going with me to see Grandma for her birthday.
I have an idea. Do you want to give Grandma your flowers?
That's what I'm no, I'm going to give her the pink flowers out there that light up.
So you were going to give her that one?
You'll see here. So Dorothy is asking five-year-old Empress. She's going to tell her, put your shoes on. You're going with me. And then Dorothy is going to ask the boys, do you want to come with me to visit Grandma? The boys say, no, we don't want to go anywhere. So what the hell is everybody talking about? That Mustafa forced Dorothy. This was his idea. That he forced Dorothy, forced Empress, forced the boys to stay home. They're terrified. The Commonwealth attorney is terrified that there's a Google Nest video inside the apartment. Here, you're going to see Dorothy go up to the boys, and the boys will say, yeah, we don't want to go. We want to stay home. Let's keep watching.
Get your shoes on. Pharaoh, are you coming with me to the cemetery? It's Grandma's birthday today. If you don't want to, you can stay here. I don't care. I just want to go. No, I don't care. Empress, get your shoes on. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Empress, put your shoes on. Pharaoh, her 10-year-old child, do you want to come with me? He doesn't want to come. He says, no, I want to stay home. There's a Google Nest video. You've got Evelyn. You've got Evelyn Horton. You've got Kylie. You've got Tanisha Coleman that wants to tell you that Mustafa forced Dorothy, forced Empress, forced the boys to stay home. There is a fucking Google Nest in the apartment that the prosecutor is terrified. When the family went up to Commonwealth Amy Ashworth to give her the Google Nest videos, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth threatened the family with the sheriff office. The Commonwealth attorney is terrified. It's been 2.5 years and you can't put the Google Nest video. The Commonwealth attorney avoids, the police department avoids the Google Nest videos that will show you what is happening in this whole entire case. And instead, they want to bring you Joe and Schmo and want to tell you that I've got witnesses. The prosecutor in court says, I have a witness that will come forward that will testify that this is a murder. Well, I'm going through all your witnesses, ma'am, and they're playing a game of ping pong. They're weaponizing children. And then when you ask the children, you find out in the videos, they're talking about, the neighbor told me, the police department told me, Kylie told me. We're going to get to the bottom of what is going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. And it's getting to a point that it's no longer my word against the police department. No, I've got their file. Tanisha Coleman likes to tell, we just heard Tanisha Coleman. What did she say? That they've been arguing all morning. Isn't that what Tanisha Coleman says? Let's listen to what Tanisha Coleman said to Robert Drum. She says that they've been arguing all morning, right? Listen to this. Let's listen to it one more time.
Where do they know where any of the family members live?
Y'all know anywhere the family members live? No, they don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. They don't even have a cell phone. All they know is their mom and him was arguing all morning. They told me they was arguing all morning, and the last couple of days they have been in altercation. So
that's interesting. But yet Dorothy is asking Mustafa to take her to her mother's anniversary. You say they're arguing, but then when we watch the dash camera, we see that they're passing a cigarette back and forth 8 times. Now, what's interesting is when I opened the forensic interview of Pharaoh, the child that the prosecutor is terrified from, she doesn't talk about him in court. She's terrified from Pharaoh because Pharaoh says this in a forensic interview. And I remind you, this is a sealed body cam. You can't get to the bottom of anything in this case. I mean, essentially, if we haven't leaked it, you can't verify this information. This is what Pharaoh talks about.
What does it look like when they fight?
Well, they mostly just yell.
So earlier, and I need you to correct me if I get something wrong, okay? You said something about Moses and your mom got into a fight. Is that correct?
Yeah, because he did.
Now, I'm going to go back a little bit before we get into this section. We'll come back to this section, but listen to this.
And whose idea was it to go to your grandma's grave?
Whose idea was it to go for her mom's anniversary? Listen to what Pharaoh tells us.
My mom's?
Your mom's?
Because it was her birthday.
Because it was your grandma's birthday? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so earlier, and I need you to correct.
Whose idea to go over to mom's grave? It was my mom's. Mom wanted to go to her mom's anniversary. But Tanisha Coleman, Kylie, Glenn Ford, Evelyn Horton, a.k.a. Amy Hodson, they're all giving you the same scenario. They sat down together, collaborated on what to say, and they came out and they said, this is what we're going to tell the police department. Well, unfortunately for them, there's a Google Nest video inside the apartment, and I stole the body cams and the discovery from the Commonwealth attorney, where now I have this video of Pharaoh telling you what actually happened that day. You want to lie? You can't lie anymore. You want to tell me this is premeditated, that Mustafa planned this out? The material fact of this case showed that this is a vehicle accident. The computer inside the car showed that his foot was on the brake the whole entire time. The dash camera showed that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. Every piece of evidence showed this is a car accident. So what does the prosecutor do? She muddies up the water by bringing individuals to lie about Mustafa. Manufacture probable cause. And seal off the body cam so you can't verify it. And then when you listen to this body cam of 10-year-old Pharaoh, Pharaoh tells us what actually took place on that day. It was Mama's idea. Evelyn Horton, Kylie, Tanisha wants to tell us otherwise. The prosecutor in court wants to tell us otherwise. But they exclude this body cam. They don't want to talk about Pharaoh because Pharaoh goes against the narrative that they want to put forward about Mustafa. They want to lie about Mustafa. And then this happens. Let's keep listening to what Pharaoh is telling us.
Correct me if I get something wrong, okay? You so earlier, and I need you to correct me if I get something wrong, okay? You said something about Moses and your mom got into a fight. Is that correct?
Yeah, because he didn't want to go, and so he got really mad at her.
Okay, tell me more about him getting really mad at her.
Well, they broke into a really bad fight because he got really mad that she was trying to force him to go. You know, he didn't want to. So they were fighting for a couple hours before he just decided to go.
What does it look like when they fight?
Well, they mostly just yell at each other.
Okay.
What does it look like when they fight? They mostly yell at each other. What were they fighting about? Oh, he woke up late. Mom woke him up. She wanted him. He had other plans. She wanted him to go over and take her to the cemetery. They were back and forth. What were they arguing about? Yeah, he didn't want to go. Wait a minute. That's not what they're telling us. That is not what they're telling us. Tanisha Coleman tells the investigator that they were in a bad fight. Kylie comes out of nowhere. She says they're arguing over a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend that Mustafa doesn't even know. Make that make sense. The ex-boyfriend says, Mustafa doesn't know me. Kylie tells you Mustafa doesn't know me. It's like they want to put out this narrative, but they want to hide and seal everything off. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, how is this working out for you? The Commonwealth attorney says, we're not going to try this over the internet. Yes, we are. We're absolutely going to try this over the internet. And we're going to get Mustafa to trial. I know you're terrified, prosecutor, that Mustafa is going to have a trial. You've been avoiding a trial for 2.5 years. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, I've never seen a case where the prosecutor, the Commonwealth attorney, the police department is terrified from the evidence. 2.5 years? We can't reconstruct a vehicle accident? You've got airplanes falling out of the sky. And you've got a CGI of an airplane. The tail is here. The nose is here. You're reconstructing an airplane that falls out of the sky. And you avoid and refuse to reconstruct Mustafa's vehicle accident? Make that make sense. They refuse to put the evidence on the record. They lie about the dash camera. They say that doesn't have an audio when we're finding out in the documents that this dash camera does have an audio and that they're in possession of the audio. That's exculpatory evidence. They're hiding exculpatory evidence from Mustafa. I mean, that's not a Brady violation? Why can't we put Mustafa's evidence on their record and take him to trial already? Instead, he sits in a county jail, no trial, and a Commonwealth attorney that's terrified to take him to and actually try him. I mean, you scream in court that he's guilty, but yet you're terrified from his evidence. How does that make any kind of sense? We're going to continue. We're going to keep going through the body cams, and there is a lot of details in this case. This Commonwealth attorney is muddying up the water by bringing individuals that are not there. Essentially, what they're doing, they're manufacturing probable cause, lying. The prosecutor in court says, I have a witness that will come forward and say this is a murder. Yet everyone, I mean, we just went through all your witnesses. None of them are saying that they witnessed a murder. They're playing a game of ping pong. Prosecutor, what are you telling us in court?
Another individual came forward to say that this defendant had told Dorothy that he would kill her in the past.
Another individual is going to come forward and testify that Mustafa said, I'm going to kill you in the past. Well, none of your individuals are actually saying this, ma'am. Is that why you sent us a lawyer that told us to destroy whatever evidence that we have? Well, how does that working out for you, ma'am? I promise you, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, by the time I'm done with you, I'm going to send you back to Iran. But before I send you back to Iran, I'm going to have you sent to Alligator Alcatraz. You and Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, you're going back to Iran, and Amy Ashworth is going back to Poland, where she can do what Nazi Germany do in Poland. I don't know what you guys do in Poland, but you're doing it in our county. No trial for 2.5 years. We can't put the evidence on the record. You're terrified from the evidence, and you just deny Mustafa a bond so no one can hear from him. Put him in solitary confinement. Seal off his evidence. This is not Nazi Germany, ma'am. I promise you, by the time I'm done with you, you're going to end up in jail. And you're going to end up in jail. And this makes sense. No wonder we get a lawyer that tells us, destroy whatever evidence that you have. You're going to have problems. You're going to have the police department come after you. What do we have today? Commonwealth Amy Ashworth has 3 different cases on me. One in Prince William County, one in Warren County, one in federal court. But what she's not realizing is that I'm a paralegal. I'm representing myself. And when she takes me to court, all this evidence is on the record now, is in federal court. Well, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, who do you think monitors proceedings out of federal court? The goddamn FBI monitors the proceeding. So, I found it interesting. She's trying to seal everything and hide everything, but yet now everything is on the internet. She's trying to avoid the federal government, but we're in court where the federal government is watching. We're going on an hour and 36 minutes. We like to keep these podcasts to an hour, 2 hours, no longer than that. So I think this is a good point to end the podcast. Thank you for being here. I want to thank everybody for being here. Missy, Becky, Farah, Shelly, Bustos, Dre, and everybody that's been here. Casey, I love you guys. And if I've missed your name, don't hold it against me. I love everybody. Thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cams, Judge Carol Weimer, you're under the microscope.
If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems.
Okay.
You can't do it, is what I'm telling you. You cannot do it. I will have to move to withdraw from the case.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay. If they get disclosed, that is going to put me in a situation where I will have to withdraw from the case.
Okay.
If you disclose that information in any way, all of it needs to be destroyed now. But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I will have to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet,
okay,
you can't do it.
2 years in a cell, no trial, no voice. Truth buried deep, but we ain't got no choice. They tried to erase them, break them apart, but we scream free Mustafa. From the soul, from the heart. They falsified the paper, twisted every word, turned a car crash to murder, like justice never heard. Dorothy and Empress, angels in the sky. Now they blame a broken man while the real ones lie. A badge and a pen, that's all it took. Signed his fate with a false report and a dirty look.
Wherever the fuck is on the other side, what the fuck that guy doing?
And again, scream Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. Amy Ashworth, playing judge and the jury in a county so dirty, soaked in fury. Police and the courts all in on the plot. They framed an innocent man and left his soul to rot. But his family's out marching, banners held high, while supporters flood timelines, refusing to lie. They want silence, we give them the storm. Truth blazing through like justice reborn. Every post, every chant, every sleepless night is a spark in the dark that's ready to ignite. This ain't just a song, it's a battle cry for every soul locked up while the guilty lie. We free Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. 2 years too long, time to rise above. Truth is power when fueled by love. So we'll march, we'll fight, we'll never let go until Mustafa walks free and the whole world knows